Hi everyone, my name's Alfie, I'm the founder and CEO of London Esports, and today with Roccat we're looking at how to be signed by an esports team. Social media is a really important part when it comes to signing to an esports team. Every time that we look to sign players, whether that be myself as a CEO or a manager that we have in place, one of the key things that we do before even contacting a player or responding to a player is we scout out their social media, make sure that your social media is reflective of who you are as a person. So that means, making sure that your social media is not over the line, edgy, not posting anything that could be seen as a brand risk that we wouldn't be able to put forward to our partners, and making sure that your social media reflects who you are going to be when you are with our. If we see on your timeline or on your Twitter that you're abusing people or being mean or racist, homophobic, is something that we would definitely not want to relate ourselves to, then we were staying well clear and we wouldn't even entertain a conversation. I also think it's really important as a side part that with your social media that you make it like your brand. So ensure that you have an image of yourself as your picture. Make sure your name or your @ reflects something about yourself, because when we talk about players, that's what we'll remember you by. We're not going to remember an anime profile picture because there's so many. So if we have something that you can brand yourself as, then that always goes a long way. Another really important part is a contact point. There's been so many times where we've wanted to reach out to a player, where we've wanted to talk to a player, discuss signing a player, and we've not been able to get in touch, whether that be that the DMs are closed, whether there's no email address, whether there's no way to contact you as a person. Ensure that in your description you have an email address that you are checking regularly. Ensure that your DMs are open and you're checking them regularly to make sure you request DMs, because sometimes they go missing, and make sure that you're ready to start that dialogue, because if we can't get a hold of you, then how are we going to sign you? So ensure that there's always a way to contact you. Now, if you're a team looking to be signed in, there's multiple people in this team, ensure that you have a deck that's put together with all your achievements, what you're looking for, why we as an org should sign you. This makes it a lot easier for us, and it's a lot more professional looking, a lot easier for me and my job and the managers underneath us to be able to look at this document, this deck, be able to see exactly who you are, how many people there are, what your names are, what you've competed in, what you've done before, what accolades you have, and why we should sign you, and what we need to give you to sign you. It saves probably a day or two of conversation, which is just going to go back and forth in this deck, and it drives our interest a lot more if we can read this information and be able to just contact you and go, cool, we know exactly what you want, let's have a conversation, we can do this, and it skips 5 steps basically. So ensure you have a nice looking team deck, ensure it is actually good looking, it's professional. If it is just like a white background with like text on it, it just looks a bit unprofessional, and again, that kind of comes off in the work. For me personally, when I'm looking at a team deck, if I see a team that's taken time to make a deck look really good, the information is correct, the English is as good as it can be, it means that I kind of have a feeling that you're taking it seriously, that you actually care about this opportunity, and it's not something you've thrown together 5 minutes and you go, cool, we just want to get some money. So ensure that your team deck's nice looking. If that means you have to outsource for it, then it's probably worth looking into. Now, it sounds simple, but you need to be competing. The only way we're ever going to see how you're doing or whether we want to sign you is if you compete. We need to judge your performances. We need to see how you're performing in different competitions, whether that is low level or high level. It doesn't matter. If you are going into tournaments with people who are unrecognizable and stomping in it, it's still better than not playing at all, because it means we have something to judge you off of. And again, it just helps you with your experience, with your self-development. So I would always suggest just keep playing, keep competing, compete where you can, and make sure that you're not missing seasons voluntarily. Now, the last one's around content. Content is such a big part of social media these days, and for teams it's such a big part of what we look when we sign a player. If there is a competitive player who we really like, who we want to sign for the team, and they do content and their content is watched by a lot of people, or their content is really good, for us it's like an added bonus. It's kind of like a cool, we have to move and we have to get this person, because their content is also an added extra for our brand. So if you have time and you have the drive and you can do it, I'd always recommend starting some content. Start a Twitch stream your games when you're playing, and on your own as solo queue. You never know how many people might watch. Don't be afraid to start a TikTok and post some videos. Going back to the first point, it's always good to build your brand, because the more people that watch you and like you, as well as your level of skill, the more desirable you become and the more teams that will be interested in you. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos that we produce like this down the line.